Good morning, Nine. Hey, I am Miss Jeffrey. I will be taking you all in agriculture for the remaining weeks. For today's lesson, we will look at how we can use our forest without losing them forever. Here I have two pictures. You look at them and you tell me what do you see. The first images here shows the untouched rainforest in Mount Bosawe, Papua New Guinea. And the second image shows the heavily logged rainforest in Papua New Guinea. Our lesson for today is under Strength, Natural Resource Management, Unit Forest Creation Practices and Management System. Our topic is Forest Harvesting Practices. But lesson topic is Sustainable Forest Harvesting Practices in Papua New Guinea. By the end of this lesson, you students will be able to 1. Gain knowledge, sustainable forest harvesting, develop skills in planning and problem solving. 3. Demonstrate positive attitude towards environmental conservation and uphold values of responsibility and respect for indigenous forest management practices. In PNG, we own our land, but how do we manage it? We will watch this 2.5-minute video on how to harvest forest sustainably.
Hey guys, so how can we harvest timber for cash without totally wrecking our amazing forests? Let's dive in. Let's kick things off with a big question. Is clear-cutting every single tree ever actually a sustainable idea? Picture stepping from a humming, lush PNG rainforest right into a muddy, barren wasteland. Yeah, it's that drastic. For local communities, these forests aren't just pretty scenery. They literally provide our daily food, medicine, and cultural identity. So what exactly is forest harvesting? Well, it's just cutting down trees for timber, fuel, and some income. Look at this stark contrast. We've got precise, selective harvesting on one side versus total destructive clear-cutting. Sustainable methods actually protect your clean water, while clear-cutting triggers nasty soil erosion and totally ruins habitats. That is exactly why replanting is non-negotiable. It jumpstarts ecosystem recovery, balances the climate, and secures future timber.
You know, your ancestors already had the secret to balancing immediate community needs with long-term future conservation.
They relied heavily on these four main pillars of indigenous forest management, which have worked brilliantly for generations.
By only taking mature trees and fiercely protecting sacred zones, communities preserve the canopy's crazy biodiversity and culture.
Plus, customary rules prevent greedy overexploitation. This guarantees your kids will inherit the exact same awesome resources.
So how do we guarantee this balance today? By combining ancient wisdom with modern math to calculate sustainable yields.
Imagine your community's forest has exactly 200 mature trees standing there, ready for a potential harvest. To keep the forest thriving, the community agrees to a strict, selective harvest rate of just 25%.
Here's the math on that. 200 trees times 0.25 equals exactly 50 trees safely harvested.
See the result? You get great income from those 50 trees, while the vast majority stays completely untouched.
Blending indigenous wisdom with modern STEM planning actively boosts community well-being while perfectly defending our natural environment.
Ultimately, this approach upholds our deepest values. It's all about taking responsibility and respecting indigenous forest management.
Now your challenge. Interview an elder about traditional conservation rules in your own community. What will you uncover?
By watching the video, we can say that sustainable means meeting our needs today without hurting our children's future. Our elders knew this. They protected scared areas and only cut the major trees. And this is called selective logging. For your class activity, you're going to get into your groups and imagine that your village has a forest and the forest contains 200 trees. So you need timbers to build your house. So you decided to cut 25% of the trees in the forest. So now you're gonna calculate it and calculate how much trees you will cut and how much you will preserve it for future. You have 5 minutes to complete the activity. Once you're done, you raise your hands up so we will go through together on the board. After 5 minutes. Okay, now bars down, eyes up on the board, and we will go through together. Are we all ready? All right. So we say that you will have total of 200 trees, and you are to harvest 25% of the 200 trees. So how many trees did you take, and how many stayed? So number of trees to be harvested, trees to be harvested. Trees to be harvested is 25%. So percent is always divided by 100. So 25 divided by 100. Okay. Multiply by the total number of trees, which is 200. Very good. So you multiply it by 200 trees. Okay, now this equals 0.25 multiplied by 200 gives 50, right? Correct. 50 trees. So let's say from the 200 total trees, we're gonna harvest only 50 trees. Now, how many trees we will save it or preserve it for future? Let's say total number of trees, which is 200 minus 50 trees, okay, gives you 150 trees. So we are going to save 150 trees for the future use. Is this clear? Is this okay? Any questions, any doubts you want us to go through? All clear, very good. So now we say our answer is 50, just 50. So you say you will cut down 50 trees for your timber and 150 you're gonna save it. So now please you plan how you're gonna cut the trees, and then what will you do? Are you going to replant another 50 trees, or are you going to just cut the trees and leave it like that? One, please you give your answer by showing the plan how you're gonna carry out. So why is replanting important, and how is it helpful to the forest? Okay, anyone would like to tell me why you say replanting is important, and how do our traditional rules help us do replanting and preserve our forest? To sum up our lesson for today, now we can say that indigenous knowledge is not just an old story. It is a vital part of scientific understanding that helps us manage our natural resources wisely in the 21st century. Sustainable development requires a respect for indigenous knowledge and a sense of responsibility in using natural resources. By combining the traditional wisdom with modern STEM planning, communities can promote well-being while protecting their environment. All right, thank you. This is the end of our lesson, and for your homework, you go home and you interview other person in your house or your village, and you ask them how do they practice traditional forest harvesting, how do they carry out traditional rules to maintain their forest and back then. Thank you and see you all tomorrow.